What a turn of fortune for Joey Logano, who had to leave the ROVAL on Sunday night thinking that he was out of the playoffs. By the time he got home, was putting the kids to bed, and then gets the call, I guess, that, oh, by the way, the 48 failed inspection. You're back in. I mean, for Logano, it's a second life, and this is a guy that is pretty good at Las Vegas, and I can see him taking advantage of this right now, Deb.
Oh, yes, most definitely. And it was interesting today. We had a Zoom conference with him, and he's been talking about it, and he said he wasn't answering his phone there for a while, and then finally he decided, well, maybe I better answer it, and that was when he found out that he was back in the playoffs. But with his performances that he's had at these tracks that are coming up, particularly Las Vegas and Homestead, he has a very good chance of advancing into the championship four. And the people that always like to play with numbers are saying, well, if you look at the years he's won the championship, it's always been even-numbered years. So I thought of that Sunday night when the disqualification occurred, and I thought, maybe it's that even-numbered year thing with Joy.
It actually goes deeper than that. He has won the championship in even number years, but since the elimination format's been introduced, which is in 2014, in every even year, he has been in the championship four. So 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Yeah. So now he's trying to make it 24.
Oh, there you go.
It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
I'll be in Vegas this week.
might want to put some money
on the 22.
But, boy, my heart goes out to Alex Bowman. We talked about it going into the break. Poor guy, during media day for the playoffs, has got to answer all these questions about rumors that he was going to be out of a job. Has had an outstanding run in the playoffs, Deb.
Yes.
Great performances. He was one of the guys, he accumulated almost, he was one of the top points accumulators in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then ready to move into the 8, and then his car fails post-race inspection after the ROVAL because it did not have enough weight. NASCAR, let him fill it up with gas, let him put all the fluids back in, and still didn't make weight.
Yeah, that's true. And it caught everyone off guard. And then Brad Moran the managing Cup Series director, would not tell us the amount of weight that it was below because he said, he didn't want to tell too much because they anticipated an appeal. And then when Hendrick Motorsports came out with a statement at right about 5 o'clock on Monday that they were not going to appeal, I think that kind of caught everyone off guard. But they were allowed a 0.5% differential, which was about 17 pounds, and they were below. They were just too light.
And that's, and Hendrick basically said in the statement, said, hey, we played with the tolerances and tried to get right on the edge, and we missed.
Yeah. And that's what these teams do, right? And we don't know, as Deb said, we don't know how far below that tolerance they were. Was it 1 pound? Was it 10 pounds? Whatever it was. Just going by the Hendrick statement and what Jeff Gordon had said on Sirius XM NASCAR radio, it does just sound like, he said, we cut it too close. That's on us. They're trying to make these cars as fast as possible, as Jeff said, and when you do that and you start playing around, you run the risk of getting yourself in trouble. So again, we don't know what that number is, but by Jeff's own admission, they did it to themselves, and it bit them in the butt in a big, big way. Because Brett, you said, Alex Bowman has done everything but win a race in the playoffs. He has earned, before the disqualification, he had earned the most stage points of any playoff driver. They were doing everything they needed to do to advance through the rounds. He was never really on the cut line in either of these two rounds to not advance, right? He's just been doing what he's had to do. You mentioned coming into the playoffs, having to address his future, which really has been going on all year long. The racing business has been cruel to Alex Bowman this year. And the fact that he gets taken out of the playoffs because his own team was just trying to push it and did something, again, that just bit them in the butt is just, to me, it's just cruel. And it's unbelievable.
And it's been funny, interesting to listen to the fans speculate. And the first thing you go to is, there's been a lot of video floating around, Deb, of the cars going over the turtles and so forth during the ROVAL saying, well, clearly it knocked out ballast. Well, first of all, ballast, there are rules about how ballast has to be secured.
Yes.
And that's a huge violation if ballast is not secured.
Yes. In fact, back when I was with NASCAR Winston Cup scene, we had a photographer almost get hit in the head with a piece of ballast that flew out of a car at Watkins Glen. So that is definitely a horrible penalty coming down if you let that out. And then when you look at these current Cup cars, they're sealed on the bottom now. So that would even raise more question of, and how did that occur? So it's, they just tried to get the tolerances too close, and it bit them, just like Kelly said. And, that's what's going to happen. I know there was a story years ago where when Dick Beatty was the Cup director, he caught a team cheating, getting the edge, trying to get the edge. And
dancing too far into the gray area.
Well, yeah, that's true. But what he did, he said, well, now, Dick, we built that car right by the book. No, you didn't. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. He said, Dick, you've been to our shop. You know where we keep that rule book. It's laying right there on that counter, and we built that car right by that book. We built it right by the book. So, they built it by the book, but
physically by the book.
Physically by the book, yeah. But
it's always something with these race teams.
Yeah. And like Ray Everham told me one time, I read the rule book by what's not in the rule book. If it's not in the rule book, then there's not a rule against it. And that was the way he read the rule book. So it's just the way racing is. You always trying to get a little bit more on your competitor and get the edge.
Yeah. And
it bit him.
Yeah, it bit him big time. And it's like you said, Kelly, my heart goes out to Alex Bowman because this is, he's kind of the lost man at Hendrick Motorsports. He's the forgotten guy. Because you got high-profile guys all the way down the line there, and he's kind of the forgotten man there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would use the word forgotten, but I certainly understand where you're coming from, right? He's the fourth guy. He's the one that constantly seems to be on the hot seat when it comes to rumors, as we just said. Rumors all of this year trying to kick him out of the seat, and so yeah, I mean, he is that guy that's just going to constantly be under a microscope, and as I said, for it to end this way is something that I don't think anybody could have seen coming, right? I mean, to be eliminated in this way. But I think Alex would be the first to tell you, you live as a team, you die by a team, and they got it wrong on this one.
But the thing about Alex, you never see him, even with the media, when all these questions were occurring, to his credit, he has always maintained a very even keel personality. He's pleasant to deal with. He's always there to answer questions. And when you see it happen to someone this way, who is good at his job and has to deal with these adversities that are actually unjust a lot of times, it does, you feel sorry for him.